Ladies and gentlemen, we are back and we are back at hockey season finally. That means basketball season's close too. Like 2 weeks away, I think. I just have this page up because I'm not really a big futures guy, but just for fun, I thought plus 50,000 for a guy like Wyatt Johnson was kind of cool for MVP, even though, I mean, it's unlikely he'll win it. I don't like plus 200 for McDavid just because those odds suck for something like a year long, you know, the entire year to wait on that. Like if he gets hurt, then you're screwed on a plus 200. That's not worth taking. The other one below it is most goals in the year, and the only reason I like Johnson so much is because he ended last year so well. Like he was on a hot streak, and then I saw in the first preseason game he got 2 goals. I'm like, oh, let's see what his MVP odds are, and it was plus 50,000. So I just thought that was interesting. And then another choice I like for, I mean, this is more of a just super long shot. It probably won't win, but another choice I like for MVP is not MVP, most goals is Kirill on the Wild. He signed that big contract this year, but he got hurt last year. But he's really good. So, yeah. Other than that, I want to go over strategies that I've used in the past. I mostly like betting goals. I'm not a money line person. I don't like doing over unders. The over unders at the beginning of the year probably mostly going to be 5.5. Some will be 6, and well, a lot of them will also be 6.5. The last year, the goals were down, and then the very end of last year, like the last few weeks, when I stopped betting hockey, the goals went outrageous. They were scoring so many goals. So I'm hoping that it'll kind of take off like the end of last year did, and it'll just be high scoring again. But the games are much lower scoring, and it has something to do. Once again, everything's analytics driven, especially like football. Even baseball is analytics driven, but it has something to do with that because I saw something and I just it was just weird. Um, Keep in mind the first game is at 2 my time, which is 5 Eastern, so it's an earlier game in Florida. They're going to be raising their banner and everything for the Stanley Cup. A lot of people are obsessed with are the Panthers going to kill the Blackhawks? Maybe, but with that said, the Panthers don't have Kachuk. They don't have Barkov. Barkov tore his ACL in practice or something. I mean, they still have a very good team. They do have a good. Are you kidding me? They still have Reinhardt. They still have Bennett, Verhage, Marchand. They still have a good team. I'm just saying, in hockey, especially, underdogs win all the time. All the time. It's not something to sneeze at when you see these odds, plus 2. Don't be afraid of that. Or just take the plus 1 and 1.5. It means they can lose by 1 or win the game outright. So if the game goes to overtime and you have the plus 1.5, you automatically win the bet because they can't win by more than 1. If the Panthers score in sudden death, then that's it. Or the game ends, well, in a shootout. They don't do ties anymore in hockey. They ended that a long time ago. One other thing I want to show you is hockey's a lot like baseball. You know how I always like taking the hot batter? This was 2 seasons ago for Reinhardt. In the month of January, he scored every single game but 1, which is just insane. Now, take a look at this. And one thing you'll notice, because betting, you can bet multiple goals. You can do 2 and 3. So 2 for him is plus 800, 3 is plus 4,000. As tempting as that looks, it's extremely difficult to hit. And based on like this right here, 1-1-1, he scored 1 goal in every game in this month, except for the one he had 0 and the one he had a hat trick. Ironically, he did. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. He did have 2 games in a row where he did score 2 goals, which is it's so tough to hit that. But this year he had 57 goals, so he scored a lot. He had a really nice year. Last year his scoring was down, but they won the Stanley Cup, so he doesn't care. So I just wanted to kind of give you that idea. If you see a hot guy scoring a lot of goals, he's hot. Don't be afraid to take him the next game. These are the three games on the slate. These are their preseason stats, by the way. And Nazar did have a really nice preseason. So one thing you'll see about the Blackhawks odds is they're juicy. Like you'll get Bedard is first, obviously, and then Donato's really good too. But like Nazar at plus 380, I mean I'm okay with that if you bet a single on him. Now when you go down to these guys, all these juicy odds, these are all defensemen. Or, well, I guess mostly. Defensemen don't look to shoot. They don't. They pass, and then what they will do is they'll shoot at the net, and then maybe Bedard will tip it in, or one of the other, whoever it touches last, stick, helmet, ass, foot. Well, you can't kick a puck in. If you kick a puck in on purpose, it doesn't count. But if it goes off their knee, it goes off their butt, it goes off their head, wherever it touches, that's the person that gets credit for the goal. So if your guy scores, don't celebrate right away all the time, unless you're watching the game and you know he scored. It could get changed 2 periods later, and it might give you a heart attack because you think you won your bet, but you actually didn't. So it doesn't happen a lot, but it will happen. I guarantee it will happen. It's happened to me quite a few times. And I said head because one guy scored a goal for me, and it went off his teammate's head into the goal, and I didn't win my bet. So, yeah. Now, one thing, obviously, there's goals, and then the other one thing I don't mind as much is first goal. I don't like doing first touchdown in NFL, but I don't mind first goal in hockey because if you take a guy like Reinhart or Verhaeghe, they're only on the ice for about roughly a minute and a half, and then they go rest, and then they come back eventually. But if they go on a power play and they score 0-0, then there's a good chance they'll score. But we'll get in the first goal kind of later. Like I said, 2 goals hard to hit. That's why the odds are the way they are, and they won't show every single player. They'll just show the main guys, and then obviously 3 goals is really hard to hit. I think I've only hit 3 goals once ever, and it was Forsberg. That was an absolutely insane day for me too. Now you can parlay, teammates. You can parlay. I'm not really a fan of doing a bunch of guys in one game. I don't mind a couple teammates. Like I'd actually rather have Verhaeghe than Bennett, but Bennett had a really nice year last year. I think he only had about 25 goals, but for him, that's a lot. And with those 2 guys out, Barkov and Matthew Tkachuk, these guys are going to get more goals. They'll get more looks. And then the other thing, the other thing you can do are points. Now, points for Reinhart, minus 310. Bennett's this is actually not bad, minus 188. And you can do point parlays. Now, let me see. Okay, you can on FanDuel now. FanDuel, you used to not be able to do 1 point for teammates, but it looks like you can do it now. So that's good. So some people will take guys on the same line, power play line, and they'll parlay them together. Because if Verhaeghe passes it to Bennett, Bennett passes to Reinhart, Reinhart scores the goal, they all get a point. 2 guys can get the assist, the 2 guys that last touch the puck, and then Reinhart gets the point for the goal. So a lot of people like to do that strategy, which I've actually never done before because FanDuel didn't allow you to parlay teammates, but it looks like you can now. I don't know if I will. I don't really like putting points for teammates. I like to just go into the next game. So I'll do you could, if you really want to, you could take Reinhart for 2, but we'll just take it easy. And then the next game, we'll just take where are points? See, that's another thing. They don't put them up right away. Oh, is it right here? Oh, they just have assists. Well, they don't even have them up. They're locked. FanDuel doesn't list points until the games are closer to starting, generally. Let's see if this game's up. Probably not. Just assists. Assists are tough. I don't ever do assists. The only thing you can consider maybe is like if you want to try McKinnon for 3 assists, I'm okay with that, or even McCarr. But assists are a lot harder to get. Now, if you really like a guy to get 3 points in a game, you can ladder. So laddering is you take. We won't do Reinhardt just because I wouldn't do one for him because if I'm doing a single bet, well, I'll just use it as an example. So you're laddering 1, 2, and 3 points, and then you're laddering 1, 2, and I wouldn't do this with Reinhardt because he's not really an assist guy. There's better guys to do this with. But what you do is, let's say these odds are better, but you just put like whatever you bet. This is just an example. And I've done this before, and they've all hit. The guy I picked, I think it was Kucherov on the Lightning, he got 3 assists. Thus, he got 3 points, and every single one of these bets hit. And the odds for 3 assists is generally really juicy. See that? Like alone pays 375. So if that all hits, then, you're feeling good about yourself. And that's laddering points and assists, of course. But I would, like I said, I wouldn't do that with Reinhardt. There's guys I'll show you in the future that I much prefer, like Kucherov. He's a guy that I would do it with for laddering points and assists. I don't do goalie props. I've tried shots on goal. I'm really not a fan of shots on goal. Literally, they have to hit the goalie or score. A goal, it does count as a shot on goal, but if it hits the post, then it doesn't count as a shot on goal. So it has to hit the goalie or go in. And if you want to try 6 or 7, sometimes they offer 7. They give you better odds, but that's pretty tough to hit. One guy that might be good to take for that if he's trying to just score a lot of goals is I'm forgetting his name. The old guy on the Capitals. What the heck is his name? The guy who set the record last year. I'm just blanking right now as I'm tired at work today. But it's the weekend. Yay. Did he even play in the preseason? That's the better question. Ovechkin. There we go. See, like he even had 4 in a preseason game. He was last year. He was going for shots galore because he was trying to break the record. So someone like Ovechkin's a nice choice for shots on goal. There are people in my Discord that say they like doing shots on goal, so I would pay attention to them. But I don't do shots on goal. I do mostly just goals, but occasionally I'll try assist parlays, and I will make for you guys. I will make them. And then the other one is PowerPoint. Where is it? I don't know if they have them listed yet. That's the problem with this. There's all sorts of stuff. There's a goal in the first 10 minutes. You can gamble before overtime even starts who you might think scores the OT goal, which is why these odds are so juicy. 60-minute money lines are not ideal. I wouldn't recommend them because overtime is fairly common in the NHL. People might try to get the better odds on the Panthers for this, but like I said, the Blackhawks could very well win this game. Do not sleep on, a team that's just trying to, and they got some really good young players, obviously, aside from Bedard. Donato's, he scored a lot of goals last year. Bertuzzi's really good. And then Nazar had he was already really good before his good preseason. If you want, this is interesting to me. I don't know how much like Kaiser is going to play, but these odds are kind of wacky. I don't know why they're so high. But I don't think I would. You could go for a higher odd guy. I'm trying to see. I mean, Bertuzzi I like. Oh, Ilya Mick. I don't know how to say his name. We'll call him Ilya. For plus 700, I like that a lot. Even Dickinson, plus 650. So there are. Hey, come on. Cats are fighting. It's just interesting how the Blackhawks still aren't getting like any respect. And I don't know. I just think it's weird because The Panthers do have some injuries, and I wouldn't put them as a shoe-in to win this game. Plus, the Blackhawks goalie is from he was traded from the Panthers, so I'm sure he wants to get his revenge on, them giving him away. But Spencer Knight was on the Panthers, and he's a good goalie. Okay, so this game, obviously, my favorite would be Reinhardt. Generally, just take the first guy if you want to make like a goal parlay. Don't be afraid; just take all the favorites. Obviously, it's not going to always hit, or, it's still hard to hit. If you didn't want to go super chalk, I like Verhaeghe a lot. And then for the Blackhawks, I would actually go Nazar just because he's so hot in the preseason. And then for the other games, we're just going to do one from each game on this slate. So we'll start with Verhaeghe. And then Panarin by far is one of my favorite, not only for anytime goal, but for first goal. He is great for first goal, plus 1,000. The reason why these are so close is because the Rangers kind of have a lot of really good goal scorers. Like JT Miller's really good. He came from the Canucks last year. Well, mid-season he came over, and he actually did really well for the Rangers. So I like him. But yeah, for parlay's sake, I'll go Miller. And then the Penguins, Crosby is the obvious number one. Raquel was fantastic last year. Very, very good player. And I don't even know who this guy is. Wow, they really changed their team. Letang was on the team last year. But yeah, their team's they're probably not going to be very good this year. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I'm almost surprised that Crosby's even still on the team. Malkin's good too. But Raquel is really good. That plus 230 is really nice odds. So don't be afraid to take someone like that. You're going to see some really low odds for goals. This isn't typical to see them like this high. If someone gets hot, you're going to see like Connor McDavid at minus 150 or something like that. That was a couple years ago. Last year, it never really happened because the scoring was so down. Here's another game where you see how the Avalanche are underdogs and they're extremely good. The Kings are a really good defensive team. They're really good at home. They're also one of the teams that I find easier to guess who's going to score. Fiala, Kempe, Byfield. Even Kopitar and Moore. They have a pretty solid core that is really good at, it's really reliable for scoring. One of my favorite Avalanche players is, where'd he go? I saw him earlier. No, there he is. Now, he screwed my goal parlay last year. I had 6 out of 7, and he was literally the last game of the day, and I let it ride, and he didn't score. And then he scored the next 4 games in a row. So that was unfortunate, but I'm not going to ban him just because he didn't score in a stupid lottery parlay for me, It is what it is. With that said, I actually kind of like a king better in this game, so I think we're going to stick with... It's between Fiala and Kempe. They even have the same odds. That's such a tough choice. Fiala's really, really, really good on the power play, so if they get power plays, I see him scoring on the power play. Or even strength. Either one is what it is. And then there are defensive players that, and we'll go over it as the year goes on, that are really good at scoring, even though typically you wouldn't want to pick a defensive player for scoring, but Makar is one of them on the Avalanche. You'll even see him score 2 in a game. He's extremely good for a defender. And then, it's a small slate, so there isn't a lot of examples to show you there. Let's see on here. Yeah, there's Wednesday only has 4 games, and then Thursday's the big slate, and then Friday looks like they have the day off. Friday's typically a very small slate, so that was like last year it was. Yeah, see, this is only 4 games. I don't know why they do that. It's interesting, but every Friday will be a smaller slate. Yep, another one of 4 games. I guess 3 games. They just like to give them Fridays off. So that's basically that. Another guy to this is, by the way, this is a goal parlay I really like. So pause it, screenshot that. Verhaeghe, Miller, and Fiala. Another player I like to ladder, and you're going to see is one. I don't even know what it is, but it's going to be high. Yeah, 330. So McKinnon for one. I would now if I'm laddering 1 point or points for a guy like this, I'm not going to do one. I'm going to skip that and go straight to two. So I'll take him for two. I'll take him for three. Well, they don't have three up. All right. Well, when they put three up, I'll take him for three, and then same with assists. As you can see, his assist is minus 148, but he should get an assist here unless they get shut out for some reason. Shutouts are pretty rare. As you'll see, both teams to score, if I can even find it, right here, is always really high, minus 1,400. Never take this. Please, for God's sake, never take that. Both teams to score. Oh, I've never seen that before. Both teams to score 4 goals. That's a new one. It's a shitty one, though. A very common score in hockey, if you like to bet correct scores. This actually might be kind of fun, actually. If I can find correct score. Dang it. There it is. But keep in mind, this is 60-minute correct score. If this goes to overtime, you lose. Oh, here's correct score. So is it the same thing? Okay, so this is correct score. So this is the whole game. And the reason I like the whole game is because of overtime. So I like 4-3. As you can see, the odds are by far the lowest. But 4-3 is a very common. That'd actually be interesting to take like two games a day and like parlay the 4-3 or something. That'd be kind of fun to do. Because 4-3 is a very common score. This is both teams to score 2-3. That's stupid. Don't do that. And then I think that's pretty much the gist of it. I can't really think of much else. You can, that's the goal scorer. The Kings are a really good power play team. First goal for the Kings, I like Kempe the most, and then Fiala. But so look at that. We see it plus 22.52. Now another fun bet I like to do, and I don't recommend doing this every day. It's really hard to hit. I've hit it 2 or 3 times in my lifetime, is first goal. So I'm just gonna go Reinhardt just because, and then you parlay, do a 2-legger. Don't do 3. This is extremely hard to hit. So please do not do 3 unless you're just putting $1 on it or something, I guess. And then I love taking Panarin for first goal. He's amazing. So this is plus $10,355 wins 517. So I've hit that a couple times. Super fun. Generally, what I will do also, because I usually hit 1 at least. I guess you could round robin this if you did 3. But if you want to put $5 to $10 on both of them, that way one of them hits, you get paid. I like to do it that way as well. And then you can do the same thing for the anytime goal too. That way, I mean, that all just is dependent on your budget, what you want to bet. But first goal parlays are pretty fun to do. And you could wait a little while just to kind of test the water, see how it's going. There are certain guys that I've noticed they're very streaky. Draisaitl on Edmonton. Oh, they don't even have the stats up yet. He's very good at first goal. He'll go 2-3 games in a row scoring the first goal. And I actually should mention this ladder. There's another ladder. There's a goal ladder if you want. Now there's the points assist ladder and there's a goal ladder. This one, like I said, it's hard to hit 2 goals, but we'll just use Reinhardt as an example. Take him for 1, take him for 2, and then if you really want to, you could take him for 3. And then the full ladder is first goal as well. I have hit this before. All of them. That was the one that I got with Forsberg. I hit him for first, I hit him for second, and I hit him for 3 goals. So if you're just whatever you're betting, it's just to give you an example of what you'd win. First goal, generally, I just minimum put 10 on it. Personally, you can do $1, you can do 5. Sometimes I'll do 15 if I'm hot. But so in total, this is $85 bet. Now, I usually like to have the anytime goal cover it just in case the other ones don't hit. Oh, I don't do 25 on 3. Sorry. I always do 5 on 3. It's really hard to hit. So this is wagering 60, 65 bucks. So if this hits, it almost covers it, but not quite. So if you did like Verhaeghe, it would pay a little more. But that's the way. This is the full-on laddering for a goal. I typically skip 3 most of the time, unless I really feel like, they're playing a really crappy team. I feel like, he can get 3, or I hope he gets 3. When you're doing this, you got to keep in mind you're probably going to lose at least the 1 and 2. Either the anytime goal you're really banking on, but this is tough to hit. If you hit the first goal, you're really looking good. So there's that. Trying to think if there's anything else off the top of my head. Like I said, as we get more slates, I'll give you my favorite guys and all on each team. Obviously the Blackhawks. Bedard kind of had a rough year last year, but I think he's going to have a much better year. He's got a better team too. I think a lot of these young guys are going to be really good. And Bedard is just super highly skilled. He's a great passer too, so he could be a good bet for 2 and 3 assists, 1, 2, 3. And just don't sleep on the Hawks. I'm not saying take their money line, but I think they could take this game. So don't just assume I'm going to alt line. You can do an alt puck line and take the Panthers -3.5, and that's minus. Well, you can even do. Holy crap! You can do -6.5. What the hell? I didn't even know you could do that. But this juices up the odds, and then you can do the same with the Blackhawks. If you took them -1.5, which is the default, they're plus 520, but they'd have to win by 2 or more. So obviously, that's pretty unlikely. But it wouldn't shock me if this game went to overtime anyway. So yeah, I think that covers it. Is there anything else? No. I think it'll be more fun when there's bigger slates coming out. So, if you have any questions in the comments, we could go over some rules too. If you're new to hockey, please make sure you understand the rules. Like, just maybe watch a YouTube video on how the rules work, because there's offsides. They can review offsides after a goal is scored. And if the team was offsides, they will take the goal away. And I mean, it'll happen 10 minutes after the fact. That's another thing that'll piss you off, aside from them changing a goal to a different guy. So be on the lookout for that. And it's not bullshit. It's just a rule. If it's a rule, it's a rule. You just have to live with it. So there's going to be some things you're going to see that's going to screw you over. Kind of rarely, but it'll happen eventually. It's because there's a lot of games and things happen. All right. So yeah, like I said, if you have any questions in the comments, join Discord, please. My free Discord. Everyone's chatting all day, every day, having some fun. It's a general chat. Wait, someone hit a home run? Oh, Suzuki did. Huh. I liked him today. Cool. All righty. Well, yeah. Go Cubs. I'm a Cub fan. All right, well, you all have a great day, good evening, good afternoon, whatever part of the world you're at, and we will talk later. Peace.